Good afternoon. What's going on? This is Joe from BMT. This is Joe from BMT coming at you again. I'm pretty much doing a subscriber request. I know I've gotten a few, and I haven't been. I need to get them knocked out. And I probably will before the end of this week. But what I wanted to talk about was I want to talk about a part of my life because some brother asked me a question, and I read it over, and the question was pretty much on him going over on he doesn't have really hey BMT, I will try to keep this brief. Long story short, my life ain't doing too well. I don't really have much going for me, and I'm looking to get out of my situation. To that end, I'm seriously considering joining the army. I know you said you were in the army, and I wanted to get your perspective. If I could on being in the army, what's it like, etc. To be honest, I'm scared, and I thought of dying or losing my body part. Okay, you know, something scares. Some stuff scares me. Hang on, hang on. Let me just. And I suppose it has gotten to the point where the pain of indifference and stagnation is greater than the potential pain of putting myself out there and dying or failing. I would really appreciate your advice, and if I could get it. When I was younger, all I wanted was a house, a car, a family, and a dog. That was it. I didn't really want for much. That's all I wanted because it was just a dream I thought would be obtainable. And for the fact about it is that I was busting my behind 9 to 5, trying to get to that level. I would I picked up various jobs of flipping burgers, working security, just any old type of little hustle I could. But it was hard, especially throughout the recession, and what I'm saying, and just being able to have an adequate, means of living. And yeah, we could bring up school, or we can bring up, hey, why don't you go do X, Y, and Z? But not everybody has the same path. Not everybody has the same type of hindsight, and I wasn't there in my life like that. But I had one thing: ambition and drive, and I didn't like it where I was. I didn't like the area and the environment. I remember at the time I was working at Waffle House as a server, and I would be running around, quick walking, and you know, dropping food and trying to make as much chatter. And it's kind of hard for a man, especially for a male in Waffle House. People more so take towards females. Males, not as much. But females have the flirtatious avenue. But a man, especially, you don't really get that much. You might get like $2 or $3, something enough to give you gas money if they give you a tip at all. I was making enough just to get to and fro back to work, so pretty much I work for free. Then one time, this man who always comes in there, he said, "What are you doing with yourself?" I said, "Well, I'm serving you and making sure that I keep that coffee topped off for you." He said, "I know that, but what are you doing with yourself? What do you want?" And as he said that, I stopped because nobody really asked me that. Not seriously. Nobody really asked me what I wanted to do with myself. Nobody asked me what was my dreams and ambitions and goals. Especially nobody outside my family or nobody inside of a school. So when I thought about that, it started to remake me think on some stuff. And he said, "Sit down with me." And he said, "Why don't you join the military?" Granted, I had tried before and I got freaked out because I went to MEPS. And MEPS, is a place where they do a whole background check on you. They do a background check on you. And, I was like, oh man, I have a speeding ticket on me. I haven't paid it, but I don't have the money to. And I don't know if I'll be able to get in. And my recruiter said, well, don't tell them, just lie. And I didn't. I just said, nah, I chickened myself out. And I just never tried. But he said, don't worry about that. Just go. Do what you need to do. But he said, what is it that you want to do if you get in? I said, well, I don't know, man. I guess I just want to make a good, decent amount of money. He said, you can't just think like that. You can't just think like that. He said, I need you to think. He put his hands on my head. And I want you to think. Do you want to be someone who works with your hands? With your head? What do you truly want to be? And as he told me that, I I said, I want to be somebody that can save a life, protect people. I want to be able to provide somebody security and safety. Sound kind of corny. It is what I wanted. I said, I want to one day join the FBI. He said, oh, okay. So then he said, well, I want you to go look up some stuff. And he gave me a website. And literally you can look it on, Wikipedia or Google. And I pulled up the MOSs. Now, the first thing you would want to do is look up the MOS that you want to do. Don't just go into the recruiter office saying you want to join the military. You got to ask yourself, what job can you do that not just in the military is beneficial, but outside of the military? You want a job that you can literally carry over, that you can actually use. You see, when you get to that point of knowing what you want to do first, that's a pretty big step. See, I understood that because the Air Force is based off of credit and accommodation of tests. You don't move up without taking tests. The Navy is built on a merit system. That's what the Navy is built on. Now, as far as I know, and I'm going off of the Army, but I was in the Army, it is more so built off of a merit system of skills. Being able to do your job efficiently, effectively, staying out of trouble, and showing that you're proficient in your job, passing your PT test. Yes, so the Army will be on the physical side in a sense. And I didn't know that until as I started to go in. But I started to learn it quickly. When I first went there, I told them I wanted to join. I wanted to go into some type of form of law enforcement. Because I knew that no matter where you go in the country or in the nation, they're always going to need a law enforcement and a police. I saw that we didn't have that really so much in my area, my town. It's what I believed that I wanted to see. I wanted a uniform. I wanted the garnership of respect. I wanted to be able to protect my family and those I care about in my community. So the guy said, why not be infantry? Now, I chose infantry. I'm not saying you have to. There's different jobs in the military and the Army that are non-combative. You can go be a cook. You can go be logistics. You can go do maintenance. There's a lot of jobs. Actually, let me go read off some jobs. So, one of the things about it is people always think that in the military, you're always having to do something of that type of violent stature or physical that involves some form of, danger. Now, that's not true. Now, you literally can go pick up jobs that literally do not involve any type. Now, there are two types. There's the enlisted, and there's also the OC. Now, enlisted people, that's what I was. That's from E1 to E8. Okay. Then you also have the officer side. The officers start out as second lieutenant and they move on up. Now, when it comes to joining the military, you want to make sure if you want to make sure that you have this on your contract, what you want to be. If you want to go to school, make sure you put it in. Make sure you put it in your paperwork. But if you're not one for school, it's okay. That's fine. Just stick to your job. Do your job and be good at that. Mind you, you're not going there to appease anybody else. You're not trying to go there to be popular. You're going there to just do your job. And so long as you're comfortable with doing your job, that's all that matters. Mind you, you have to know the ambitions of why you're there. I had to tell I always had to have a self reminder or a check of why I went into the military. What was I going there for? What did I want to see and what was I trying to do? That was one of my biggest things. I met people who have never met black people before. So their encounter with me was quite different. Did I feel some type of way? At first I did. But I understood that makes that's what makes the military. You're literally putting a mosh pit of people who have never dealt with you or been around you ever a day in a day in their life, and they're literally working together. So let me go ahead and grab you, tell you some codes. Uh, let me give you some MOS jobs that do not involve combat, that you do not need, that you don't need to do any type of combat. You don't have to get involved with violence. You don't even have to really so much as pick up a gun. Your main job is just to be a service. And the thing about it is, when you start understanding that the military is built off of that stuff, I chose a field of where I wanted to be in that type of condition. So because I chose that, that's what was my drive. I loved that energy. I loved cleaning my rifle. I loved being in confrontational conflict. I loved seeing it that after I did what I did, and just that praise of camaraderie with brothers. I love traveling the world and seeing different places that most men will never see, even on TV. Meeting people and talking with things, and I've had my few share. I'm not gonna lie and say I haven't had my share of bad days, but I understood that what I was going to do in the military, I was going to make the best of it because I chose to be there. I'm not going to say that there are some bad things in the military that you're not going to deal with. You're going to deal with stereotypes. You're going to deal with some racism. You're going to deal with some classifications of gender and also economic status. That is life. That is being a human. So get that out of your mind that that does not exist in wherever you go, because guess what? You're picking a career. And when you're picking a career, you're going there to do that. Now, if these things happen, you have a voice to actually speak up on it. That's something you can do in the military. Somebody saying something that's offensive, hey, excuse me, sir, ma'am, what you're saying right now is pretty rough. Now, sometimes I've been in for so long, I really don't didn't really I came up during a rough time. Now, I would say we're gonna go ahead and look at active duty. You have administrative and support, you have intelligence, you have art and media. Art and media would mean that you actually work with doing stuff on a TV show. Yes, the military also deals with art and media, where we do a TV show. We also do art imagery. You do a legal and law enforcement. That means you can deal with that. You can do a combat mechanics. You can also work on vehicles. You also have computers and technology. So I don't want you to think that everything that you do is going to involve some form of violence. It's not. It does not work like that. Like the stuff that they show y'all in TV and in movies, that stuff's not real. Shout out to you, BK. What's going on, brother? The stuff that they tell you that everybody's running around toting guns and stuff. I mean, granted, like you do have your time and period where they teach you how to, handle a weapon, but the military, we've gotten away from all that bang, 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 bang. Like that's not really so much of a thing now. I mean, it's not. It's a small percent of. It's a small percentage of us who actually are in the combat field. Those are the ones they make a video game about us. Those are the ones that they tell stories about us or make movies. Everybody's not doing combat. We gotta understand we're a body. I'm just the fist. You could either be the arm, you could be the brain, you could be the heart, you could be anything. You could be the guy who works in the office. Heck, you could be the guy who literally handles transportation, drives vehicles. There's different things in the military that you just do. Somebody said, "Well, BMT, if I join the military, I could be shot." I'm like, "Well, what's the difference of you being shot here in the U.S.? I mean, no offense, but I mean, shooting has gone up to an all-time high. At least I got to wear a vest. At least I knew who the enemy was. You know? No, I mean, no offense, but most of the men and women on the military base, we're not running around with guns. Usually, when we're done with our job, we kind of go back home. I mean, thank you. Like, we could tell you right now, as veterans, we don't run around with guns on the base. Actually, they don't even allow you. If you are a military personnel, they don't allow you to have. It's funny. As much as they complain about military personnel and firearms and we're gun nuts, fun fact: you're not allowed to have firearms on the post. They have to be mostly turned in to the MPs where they're locked away. We live in communities. If you don't have a family, you can stay. You stay in the barracks. You get you just keep up your room. You don't have to catch a ride. Literally, they have transportation that takes you to your job, so you save gas if you don't have a vehicle. You get fed 3 meals a day. And the meals are pretty good. I don't know about some people say that. Oh man, these are no. The meals are good. I'm not gonna lie to you. You get health insurance, dental. You get eye care. Military pay for these. Anything, any and everything the military pays for me. I don't pay for nothing. Y'all could try to. I've had people try to shame me about that, but I got 100%. I got 100%, man. Military. That's because I did my service for my country. I have no shame in that. I understood where I wanted to get. I help veterans when they get out of the service. I help direct them in where they need to go. Hey, man, what's going on with you, man? I've been having back problems. We need to go get your DDR 214. And that's the thing about it. You see, the thing about it is when you see people join the military, you got to ask them, how are you spending your money? How are you using your time? Because when you're not used to that type of access of money and availability to you, you tend to splurge on it and overthink it. And then you go back to broke. It's true. I try to tell people, but I had to learn, but I had a family. I have a family. Hey man, put some of that money aside. Save it up. Pull $100 out. Or you're building up your career, you're traveling. Save up. Majority of men and women in the military, they get married. They have families. Majority. Not saying everybody, but a good majority because we have a more of a settled lifestyle. We know that our families have health care, medical, and insurance. They literally go to daycares on the post. If you have an issue, they literally let you, hey, my family's having issues. They provide therapy. If you have some type of issues, you know, your NCO will check in on you. But one of the main things about it is you gotta understand that you have to mentally and psychologically condition yourself. Everybody's not into no violence. Everybody's not trying to hurt nobody. If there's an issue or something like, hey man, like we're not here for that fighting stuff. Some people, what problem is, people bring their worldly issues, their problems, to the job. It happens. I can't say I haven't done it. People get in sexual relationships that they shouldn't be getting into. I mean, you're becoming a government worker. I've seen guys who literally bomb it out there in the world, join the military, and are like, boom, because they understand that this is easy. I don't have to think too much, but just do my job. Show up in uniform. Do my PT. PT is physical training. It's not hard. If I do what I'm supposed to do, I go up in rank. As I go up in rank, that's my motivation. I get more pay. Depending on what type of bank you get paid early. Whatever state you go in, that's your BAH. BAH is basic housing allowance. You always can use your VA, your military to go to school if you want to go to school, or use it for trade or some type of skills. These are things that you yourself have to go look into. Now, let me go ahead and look into. Let me go ahead and look into administrative or support. Okay, let me go look into that. Now, looking at administrative or support, you have stuff like the chaplain assistant. If you're a religious type of person, you can go into chaplain assistant. A chaplain assistant is pretty much somebody who literally deals with religion. If not religion, then spiritual or mental or psychological evaluation of people. Chaplains do not carry firearms. Chaplain assistants do not carry firearms. They do not deal with anything with combat. They're more so on humanitarian. The regardless of who the person is, you are sworn to not pick up a weapon. I mean, not to say they can't defend themselves, but we don't. If we can help it, we rather not have the chaplain um, fight, because he is that type of grounded person for us. He's that one guy I don't want to have his hands stained with blood or any type of foolishness. We don't involve the chaplain with this stuff. He's just out there. That would be a 58 alpha or 58A. Next is financial management technician. They pretty much deal with finances. The finance management technician is responsible for finance management duties such as budgeting, distributing, and accounting. Pretty much, they make sure everybody in the military gets paid. That's what they do. That is literally a 36B. Pretty much, there are military bank people. You don't need it. You do not need a degree for that. All you gotta learn how to do is learn how to count money. They make sure everybody's getting paid. They make sure everybody's payroll is squared away. If you're having problems with getting money to your family or somebody like that, they handle that right there. Between civilians and military, that is their job. They keep the finance for us running. If you're having problems with budgeting your pay, and yes, there are people in the military, high from the lowest tier, from the private to the officers that have problems. Some people have financial problems handling the money. They step in and they set up a budget plan for you. If you know you're not good with finances, guess what? The financial management technician, they're the people that will step in. They are mandated by the military to step in and help you. I know some people don't like that, but sometimes they really are really good at what they do. Hey man, why aren't you having any money for deodorant? Why don't you have any money to buy what you're supposed to buy? Well, that's my money. Correct. That is your money. But you also are financially obligated to make sure you have the stuff. The military gives you enough money to buy what you need and take care of what you need to. They also help you set up a budget plan to also get the things you need. Next is the financial manager. This is somebody who's more so in charge of Army Financial Corps. They handle all the money through the intersection of the branches. Same thing. Human resource specialist. Pretty much these are the people. A human resource specialist, which is a 42 alpha, also a human resource specialist is responsible for providing support that affects soldiers' overall welfare and well-being. In other words, they're the people who help take our mind off of our job. Not in no sexual way. I want to keep your mind clear from that. But literally, they provide stuff like food, snacks. They make sure that we can get phone calls home. They make sure that our families are squared away. They make sure they take care of our husbands and wives and cousins and whoever's home back at home, or if we can't get in touch with them, they take care of all that stuff. They're literally your vein to help make sure that you're squared away. I told you that not every job in the military involves like some kind of brute force. Literally, some things are just. This is the person that when I was before I go on deployment, they literally were like actually like showing me DVDs of movies to watch, brand new. Girl, the lady made me some hot cocoa and gave me some banana muffins. One of my soldiers was nervous because he was like, "I'm scared." A guy came out with some comic books that, hey, we got these comic books. You want to read them and make an audio videotape for your little brother? That man went in there and read for like hours, came out refreshed. Next, we have human resource officer, pretty much the person who manages over that. We have the quartermaster. Quartermaster are officers responsible for making and sure equipment, materials, and systems are done. Pretty much they take care of the equipment. Religious affairs specialist. Pretty much this is somebody who makes sure that you are innately intact. If you're going against your moralic experiences or guidelines, they literally step in and say, hey, this person is not fit to get involved in this kind of stuff. I seriously was interested in joining the military when I was young, but was distracted by college. I was a great student. That's good, BK. I know you were. And that's the thing about it. These people help you navigate some stuff. People, when they join the military, everybody has some type of thing going on. And when they're going through it, they should know how to properly navigate through it. How to properly, you know, figure out their things. If you're going through college and sometimes you're like, man, money's getting pretty hard. I don't know if I can stay in school. Join the service. Do reserve. Tell them that you're in school. They'll pay for it. You just over the weekend, you got to just do your time. That's it. Go tell them you want to be an officer. Did you know if you're a dentist, you automatically are an officer? If you are a dentist, you automatically become an officer. Or if you're in eye care, we need certain types of jobs. Now look at this: shower, laundry, and clothing repair specialist. Pretty much, it is what it says. Literally, these people make sure that they set up pretty much these types of things for us. They make sure that the uniforms and stuff like that are clean, our equipment is cleaned. Again, everybody's not running around. Let me see if I can go somewhere else. And that's also a 92S. There's a utility supply, which literally that's pretty much logistics. Unit supply. I know a lot of people who go and become logistics, and I got nothing against that. We used to, you know, they handle all our equipment. That's what they do. They work in the lockers, handle our equipment, our weapons, our a lot of our stuff. They they do not go on the battlefield at all. You would never put those type of people. Majority of people, you would never put them on the battlefield. You would never put them on the battlefield. That is not their job. So many people don't even leave the country. That's not what they're for. Therefore, one thing: take care of me, so that way I can take care of them. If you are somebody who likes art or media, another job that you can look into, because we do have people who have artistic side. We have people who are in the marching band. If you are good with music, if you're good with music and different stuff like that, we do have people that we pay in the military to play music. That's their job, to play music for ceremonies and for recreation. They love what they do. Combat documentation production specialists are primarily responsible for supervising, planning, and operating electronic and film-based still videos. Pretty much, these people, all they do is take pictures of us while I'm shooting at things. I pose, take a picture, they leave. After whatever happens on the battlefield, they come. Before the battlefield, they already have a drone that they could send out there, take a picture. These people are amazing. These people provide evidence for us and also take pictures to showcase things so that way they can show to the White House in Washington what goes on out there. So that way Intel can get a clear depiction. Shout out, shout out to you, McKenzie. I was like, hey, we have children soldiers that are traveling with us and fighting with us. Oh no, no, no. Y'all should have some well trained men. McKenzie showed up. She held one of them. She said, "This is no older than my child." 9-year-old kid was a rifleman. 9 of them fighting alongside with us. Granted, we didn't approve of it, but the men were gone and they were defending their home. Bunch of boys. They were like teenagers and kids. But that's all the area had. Mackenzie took that picture. She got it sent and she pushed for it to get sent. Guess what happened? That village is under U.S. protection now. She did that. Now those kids, now guess what they're doing? They're getting an education. Let's see what else we got. Multimedia illustration, people who handle the media for our news. We have musicians, public affairs, mass communication, people who handle our public affairs. And also we have special band musician. That's for our ceremonies. And visual information equipment operator. They pretty much handle when we have TV shows and stuff. Again, the military has a different branch of different stuff going on. So I want you to understand that not everything that we do is dealing with that. We have legal, we have construction. Say if you're somebody who deals with construction, I'm gonna read you a few of them. I don't want to be at this too long. But the thing about it, as I learned, is that my time in the military was what I was gonna make it. And also, fun fact, if you join the military, you're not just you're not just stuck with just one job. If you want to, after like 2 or 3 or 4 years, you can put in to go to another job. Say if you're a cook, but then after a while you say, I want to be a medic. Put in for that packet. You could do that. We had a medic become infantry. All you got to do is have the heart to say, "Hey, I learned this skill, now I'm gonna learn something else." Now that can cause you to go down a rank, or go up in the rank. Thank you, man. I really appreciate this. No problem, man. I want you to understand that you can always traverse in the military. You're not just stuck to one branch or one job. You can go wherever you want to go. It's your job, it's your future. But I ask you, study up on it. Take the patience. Learn your job. Pick a job you love to do. Not something that you just have to do. Enjoy your life. Take the time to travel. Your paperwork, I want you to start keeping track of your paperwork if you join the military. That's something that people don't do. They don't keep track of their paperwork. Keep track of your paperwork. Someday you will have to get out. And when you do that, you can take that paperwork, turn it in. You can start filling out whether you're going to go get a contract job for the government, or you can also go do something else differently. Like you can go get a regular job. Veterans get hired faster than anybody. They can help set you up with getting a house, a home, school. Military does all that. You can make your life into something, or be stagnant, hang out and be a fool and waste your time. But it's going to be what you want to make it. I did. Now I get to stay at home. Not to say it was easy, but I busted my behind. I worked hard. I put in a lot of work, effort. I learned a lot of tricks and trades and skills. And I deserve it. And I think you do too. But you got to put in the work. I know you're going to have some days where you're nervous. You're going to have some days you're anxious because it's the unknown. And that's to be expected because you're human. You're a person. But what you do from there, and guys, as you're in the chat, please like the video, support the channel. And if you want content for me to talk about, I don't charge you. I'm not like some people where I charge you. But I do appreciate your support. If you like to donate, please donate. All donations go towards a charitable cause. I do not keep the funds. I do not depend on YouTube. I take the money and I literally give it out toward people who need it. Any information that y'all need, I do the research and find. If you're looking for a job in construction, if you're good with your hands or you want to learn some skills, literally you can get certified in construction and engineering. They had allied trade specialists, where you deal with trade and shipping. Bridge and crew member, where you literally build bridges in the military. Carpentry and masonry specialist. You literally learn how to be. You can learn masonry and carpentry. Where when you get out the service, guess what? You are literally a certified mason and carpenter. Pretty cool. Literally, you have to pay for that, but you literally get that in the military. Combat engineer. They literally build our stuff for us to be able to maneuver through different areas. Horizontal construction engineer. Construction equipment repair. Somebody who fixes the construction equipment. Shout out to Prophet of Thought. Prophet of Thought would excel well in that. They would pay him exceedingly. Engineer officer and geospatial engineer. Geospatial engineer, which are very rare, engineers are responsible for using geographic data that support military and civilian operations for disaster relief. These literally are the people that literally, whenever we have hurricanes or any type of disastrous situation in the world, these people literally are the ones that literally set up plans and engineer how we as military people can actually get. So I want you to understand this. When people say, "Where's the military? Why have the military not just run up in there?" That's because you're waiting for this person, this 12 Yankee, to literally come up with a plan to maneuver 700 to 1,200 people into that area safely. That is their job. Now you know. We always have people always make guesstimations. Let me drink some water. Talking for a long time, you kind of get parched. These people literally do that. I know I have quite a few friends of them, and I know when people speak English, why isn't the military rolling up? Well, guess what? These people have to go early in the morning and figure out how to get people in there safely. What is the point of sending people in there with heavy equipment and gear and all that stuff? And if they get stuck, guess what? Nobody gets out really. Those movies where, oh wait, we sent people in there and now the military's trapped in there. No, these people make sure that nobody gets trapped in there, that everybody can get out. Interior electrician. You can get certified as an electrician in the military. Petroleum laboratory specialist. They handle petroleum. Laboratory specialists are primarily responsible for supervising or conducting laboratory tests on petroleum. You got the supply specialists, the plumbers. I mean, I'm telling you, literally, there's a job for you in the service. Everything's not a bit, not right. Everything doesn't involve with a firearm. I hope you choose what you want to be. Find a job that's for you, male or female. Find out where you want to be and how you want to be. Now, if you are a certain age and you want to still join the military, you can still join. You got to just pass certain medical tests. Everything doesn't involve doing anything crazy, and you can get profiles that can allow you not to go so strenuous, but to just do your job. Pass your tape test. This is a BMT saying thank you. I hope you guys find out what you want to do. If you have any questions or stuff you want me to go over, if you feel like I didn't go in enough, let me know. I want you to understand that this can be a productive thing for you. I feel like you can be or have whatever you want in the service. You just have to know how to properly navigate yourself through it. Assess what you want to do and be very mindful. Well, that's it for today. I'm Joe from BMT. I'll see you guys later. Peace.